Okay, man, so we're headed out to Oklahoma to premiere this little independent film we made called Dadbot. After 15 hours of straight driving, we're finally out of steam and gas, and we pull into this town called Cuba, Missouri. The trucker smiles and nods his head. Oh yeah, bro, I know exactly what you're talking about. I live 100 miles west of it. It's the last place on God's green earth you want to end up. Ain't nothing going on in that little shithole. No doubt about that, I say, ready to spew the strange tale. So yeah, not only is there a drive-in theater playing 2 full servings of Passion of the Christ on each screen long past its DVD release, but there's also a Jack-in-the-Box on the corner of the interstate. Still nodding, still smiling, the trucker listens on. This weird skinny chick is working the register. She spies us, nabs us, takes her break, and swings us outdoors to jabber. She plops on the hood of an Escort, and while chain-smoking explains how Cuba is the crystal meth capital of the United States and that we need protection. Immediate, hardcore defense. She flicks her butt in the trail of red embers and flashes us some chrome. Grinning, she dumps this killer street gang blade on us, like this twisted mutation of a Cleon death weapon. She tells us to watch our backs. That's quite an introduction. Well, that's just point A. It's starting to get dark, and we're gunning for a few beers. Our quest for the local dive takes us down these menacing, shadowy streets, lurching willow trees like a ghetto in New Orleans. Finally, we hit this bowling alley, but there were only 3 people inside, and they wouldn't look at us, like intentionally avoiding us. This evil vibe as if they just hacked up some drifter for barbecue and hastily mopped the floor. They are ugly fuckers, too. All of them. Faces rotted and sunken purple like elder god-worshipping cult folk from some Lovecraftian nightmare village. The trucker's eyes light up in a strange, horrified amusement. We ditch on the alley and hit Main Street, which only adds up to the Innsmouth vibe, man. The drag is a narrow corridor stretching for 10 blocks. The walls of every building slopped with paint murals of farmers and cows. Inside them, semi-Amish agriculturists are dressed purely in black, which is creepy to begin with. But the kicker was that everyone and everything inside these painted murals, the farmers, the chickens, the cows, all of them have pitch black eyes, like evil insectoid eyes, huge and bulbous. They are fucking terrifying, man. Totally painted by an armada of sleep-deprived meth freaks. And within the murals, the Amish MIBs aren't doing anything. They're all just standing there, watching you, with their plows and rakes limply at their side. Even the cows are staring blankly with these soulless black eyes, as if the second you turn the corner of the painting would magically come back to life. It was the children of the corn, man. Fucking children of the corn. We shook off the heebie-jeebies and surpassed the murals to find another street. The trucker is still with me, waiting for the big punchline, with a dozen Texas Chainsaw Massacre-looking houses, giant houses, old, dilapidated, the stench of rotting wood, all of which had human-sized ragdolls on the porch, plopped in rocking chairs, all of these hideous stuffed creatures gazing at us with murderous black insect eyes. We heard something strange behind us and flipped our heads to catch 2 of the dolls we passed. Again, totally serious. The chairs were rocking. We fucking ran all the way back to the motel. The trucker belly laughs and proceeds to hammer me with sad stories of interstate loads at 19 cents a mile, gas not included. He was stuck, like all these other displaced people, in the middle of a St. Louis Greyhound depot, rerouted or otherwise immobile due to the giant 24-inch blizzard that had engulfed the center of America. Our normal route was to be through Denver, but the poor saps in Colorado were now stuck there up to a week. All of Texas engulfed in white, the desert winds searing a negative 20-degree chill. Old Man Winter's uncongenial bitch fist. Elemental bastards, stay out of my damn Valhalla. So I commit these thoughts to mental calligraphy, awaiting the opportunity to purge. Barely a day into this thing, and I have yet to recognize the extent of what I've done. In a drunken whirlwind, and not thinking the subject over too clearly, I declared the creation of a new book via international press release called The Big Shiny Prison. In it, I tell the world that I now travel America for a year straight, drifting town to town, interviewing bands and the personalities thereof, penetrating music scenes as I ping-pong across the country totally DIY. I have no energy. I have no publisher. I have no game plan. I have no structure. All I possess is a backpack, a duffel bag, an old-school tape recorder, and I have no money except $1,200, which is to last me until the end of March. The money itself does not cover any kind of motel or rent arrangement. It barely covers the fares of Greyhounds to destinations still vaporous and unbooked. I have no real idea where I'm going for a certain, except a loosely constructed list of bands, PR men, zine proprietors, and promoters that have no idea I'm crashing their way. I rely totally on the willingness of those parties I can drag into this thing. None of that really matters, though, for I have my space, the thunder of the gods. The book I have espoused is not the book which will be printed. I have been bored to the point of hammering nails through my face by the shoddy journalism of heavy metal. The only well-known books available on the subject are ultimately handcrafted from some hack writer making dozens of phone calls and typing his conversations into paint-by-numbers expose in which we hear all too often the word brutal to describe everything. No, this isn't my realm. I am not interested in what guitar strings they use. I am not interested in their perceptions of drumbling drop D noise. I don't care what patches are sewn onto their sleeveless denim vests. To even call it a book about music is misleading. What I seek is the soul. Character studies, their environments, their dreams, hopes and aspirations, a total sociological unearthing, the very substance and inertia of their war and poetry. What are they fighting for and against? And most importantly, how alone in my views am I? What is this common thread? Does the magical world I once looked upon in magazines and on stage when I was 18 even exist? And in the end, what do I hope to find? So I fall into this cocoon, my physical body screaming in constant pain from a jigsaw skeleton of pinched nerves. No chiropractor, no therapy, no respite. 1 full year of road with no stopping. My last sacrifice to journalism before I can walk away, form a new band somewhere, discover my queen and live a real life. This book will be just as much about the artists and freaks I encounter as it is the hard reality of trying to write this book. This isn't a Kerouac ripoff. This isn't Hunter S. Thompson. This is akin to Christian Bale wandering the earth and Batman Begins for 7 years, recreating himself in steel. It is just as much about me as it is all of them, because our struggle is unanimous. Surely I will be sued. I will be misconstrued. I will be laughed at by dunderheads who think so small that the intensity and mission of such a project will fly miles above their heads. In this I am undeterred. Some will ignore, some will offer sanctuary. So no matter the immediate situation, I will play by the rules in which I am confined, weaving through these complex undergrounds by stealth. And if all else fails, keep them amused by wacky anecdotes until I can jump back into the safety of the Greyhound purgatory. The plan is to avoid big bands unless they seek me out or are right there waiting to go. It is not my job to promote those already promoted. Instead, I seek the unknown, the struggling, the fringe and depraved. I am out to prove the point that no answer is ever the answer, and that reality is only in the eye of the beholder. I will hunt down the most extreme of personalities from right to left. I will let the recorder roll in front of views as confrontational as possible, from pagan militants to Christian rockers, from goth idols to street-dwelling crust punks, from neo-Nazis to flaming homosexuals. Every monster possibility in America, every inch of its seedy underbelly thrust into the spotlight. 3 a.m., sleeping soundly and somewhere in Texas, a foofy-haired woman interrupts my rest. "What is he doing back there?" she questions, in a weird state of panic. I pass back out only to have her wake me again with this identical question. To shut her up, I wander to the back of the Greyhound, pretending to use the toilet. There is a creepy Hispanic man dressed in a blue workman's outfit, like Michael Myers' duds in Halloween. He looks like the gruff caricature of a Sergio Leone villain and smells like rancid feces. And of course, he's rapidly masturbating an iron-hard flagpole. I sit back down. The foof lady asks again, and I duly confirm. The passengers are now wide awake, unwilling to confront the strange man wildly jacking off behind them. We pull into Amarillo, and the whacker guns it for Miss Pac-Man. Little does he know, cackling and babbling to himself, that Greyhound has called the police. When the heavily accented officers confront him, the Mexican becomes enraged. The cops point to the white glob of jism on his clothing, and the man protests in broken hysterical English, "No, it's paint! It's paint!" The cop whispers something in Spanish, and he starts laughing and unzipping his coveralls. Out it plops, dangling from his belly button as a limp pendulum. Fearful mothers grip their children. The elderly squeam. Grown men grow nauseous and bellicose. A giant colostomy bag stuffed with shit dangles to and fro, dripping profusely, and all the Mexican can do is laugh horrendously at the terrified honkies.